Snow drifted gently across the streets of Cedar Falls, Iowa, as Christmas Eve settled over the town like a warm blanket. Store windows glowed with colorful lights. Families hurried through the cold carrying gifts wrapped in bright paper. Somewhere in the distance, church bells rang softly through the evening air. But for 38-year-old Ethan Parker, Christmas felt very different. He stood outside a small grocery store, balancing 2 shopping bags in one hand while trying to keep his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, from slipping on the icy sidewalk. "Slow down, kiddo," Ethan laughed. Lily grinned. "I wasn't slipping. I was ice skating." "Without skates?" "I'm talented." That earned another laugh from Ethan. Moments like these kept him going. Because the truth was, the last 3 years had been hard. Very hard. Ethan had never imagined raising a child alone. When he married Rachel 12 years earlier, they had dreamed about building a family together. They bought a modest house, planted flowers in the yard, and talked endlessly about the future. Then life became complicated. Rachel accepted a demanding marketing job that required constant travel. Ethan's father became seriously ill. Financial stress piled up. Conversations turned into arguments. Arguments became silence. And eventually, after years of trying to fix what felt broken, they divorced. There was no dramatic betrayal. No scandal. Just 2 exhausted people who slowly lost sight of each other. The divorce hurt them both. But it hurt Lily the most. At first, Rachel tried to balance work and parenting. Yet her career continued pulling her across the country. Eventually she relocated to Seattle for a major promotion. Visits became less frequent. Phone calls became shorter. Over time, Ethan became Lily's primary parent. He never spoke badly about Rachel. Not once. Even when friends encouraged him to. Even when he felt frustrated. Because he knew Lily loved her mother. And children shouldn't have to choose sides. Still, there were nights when Ethan sat alone after Lily went to bed, wondering where everything had gone wrong. Tonight was one of those nights. Christmas Eve carried memories. Some good. Some painful. As they walked toward their aging pickup truck, Lily suddenly stopped. "Dad? What is it?" She pointed across the parking lot. A woman stood near a silver sedan. Dark coat. Wool scarf. Familiar posture. Ethan froze. His heart skipped. Rachel. For a moment, neither moved. 3 years. 3 years since he'd last seen her in person. The distance between them wasn't far. Yet it felt enormous. Rachel looked just as surprised. The world seemed to go quiet. Then Lily shouted. "Mom!" Before anyone could react, she sprinted across the lot. Rachel dropped her purse and opened her arms. Lily crashed into her with the force only a child could manage. The hug lasted several seconds. Long enough for Ethan to notice Rachel wiping tears from her eyes. Long enough for him to remember how much Lily had missed her. When Lily finally stepped back, she was talking a mile a minute. "We made cookies. And I got an A in science. And Dad burned the first batch." "I did not burn them," Ethan called. Rachel smiled. That familiar smile. The one he hadn't seen in years. And for the first time all evening, something inside him softened. A few minutes later, the 3 stood awkwardly together. Snowflakes drifted between them. Rachel shifted uncomfortably. "I wasn't expecting to see you." "Same here," Ethan replied. Lily looked between them. "Can we get hot chocolate?" Children have a remarkable talent for rescuing adults from uncomfortable situations. 20 minutes later, they sat inside a small cafe near downtown. Christmas music played quietly overhead. Steam curled from mugs. The atmosphere felt strangely familiar. Almost like old times. Almost. Lily chatted happily while Rachel listened carefully. She asked questions about school, friends, books, dance lessons. Everything. Ethan noticed something he hadn't expected. Rachel wasn't distracted. She wasn't checking emails. She wasn't glancing at her phone. She was fully present. And Lily noticed too. The little girl glowed under the attention. Eventually Lily excused herself to browse the cafe's holiday display near the counter. That left Ethan and Rachel alone. The silence settled between them. Rachel stared into her coffee. "I owe you an apology." Ethan looked up. "For what?" She laughed sadly. "How much time do you have?" He didn't answer. Because honestly, he wasn't sure. Rachel took a slow breath. "When I moved away, I convinced myself I was doing the right thing." Ethan listened. "I kept telling myself I was building a better future. Better income. Better opportunities." She shook her head. "But somewhere along the way, I started measuring success by promotions instead of people." Outside, snow continued falling. Inside, neither looked away. Rachel continued. "I missed birthdays." Her voice cracked. "School plays." Another pause. "Christmases." Ethan felt a knot tighten in his chest. Because he remembered every one of those moments. The empty chair at dance recitals. The missed video calls. The tears Lily sometimes cried after hanging up the phone. Rachel blinked rapidly. "I can't get those years back." "No," Ethan said gently. "You can't." The honesty stung. Yet somehow it felt necessary. Rachel nodded. "I know." A few moments passed. Then she said something unexpected. "I almost didn't come home." "What changed?" Rachel looked toward Lily. Their daughter was studying a wooden ornament display. Smiling. Happy. The sight seemed to answer everything. "I realized I was succeeding everywhere except where it mattered most." Ethan didn't know what to say. Because part of him understood. Life could pull people in directions they never intended. The next words came quietly. "I've spent 3 years blaming myself." Rachel's eyes filled again. "So have I." That surprised him. "You?" She nodded. "I kept replaying everything. Every argument. Every mistake." For the first time, Ethan recognized something beneath her confident exterior. Regret. Real regret. Not excuses. Not defensiveness. Just regret. Then Rachel leaned forward slightly. And she spoke 2 simple words. "Thank you." Ethan blinked. "What?" "Thank you." Those were the words. 2 words he never expected to hear. Rachel smiled through tears. "For raising her." Ethan said nothing. Rachel continued. "For being there when I wasn't." Her voice trembled. "For helping her become this amazing little person." The cafe suddenly felt very quiet. Years of resentment. Years of frustration. Years of unanswered questions. And somehow those 2 words broke through all of it. "Thank you." Not because they erased the past. But because they acknowledged it. For the first time, Ethan felt seen. Not as the ex-husband. Not as the guy left behind. But as a father who had done his best. Rachel looked down. "I don't say that enough." Ethan swallowed hard. "You don't." "I know." Something shifted. Not reconciliation. Not romance. Something deeper. Respect. The kind that survives even after relationships end. The kind built through honesty. Across the room, Lily waved excitedly. Look! Reindeer ornaments. Both parents laughed. And for a moment, they were simply mom and dad. Nothing more. Nothing less. The next hour passed quickly. They walked through downtown together. Christmas lights reflected off the snow-covered streets. Lily held both their hands. A simple gesture. Yet neither parent pulled away. Near the town square stood a large Christmas tree decorated with thousands of lights. Families gathered nearby taking photos. Children laughed. Carols echoed through the air. Lily suddenly stopped. Can we take a picture? Ethan and Rachel exchanged glances. Then nodded. A stranger happily offered to help. The three stood together beneath the tree. Flash. One photo. Simple. Ordinary. Yet meaningful. Because it wasn't about pretending the past never happened. It was about choosing kindness in the present. Later that evening, Rachel walked them back to the truck. Snow continued falling. The town glowed with Christmas warmth. Lily hugged her mother tightly. When will I see you again? Rachel knelt. And this time her answer came without hesitation. Soon. Not a vague promise. Not a casual response. A commitment. Then she looked at Ethan. I'd like to be more involved. He studied her expression. There was sincerity there. Hope. Determination. Maybe even courage. Because rebuilding trust takes courage. Finally, he nodded. Then let's start there. Rachel smiled. A genuine smile. One neither of them had shared in years. As Ethan and Lily drove home, Christmas lights blurred past the windows. Lily sat quietly for several minutes. Then she spoke. Mom seemed different. Yeah. Good different. Ethan smiled. I think so too. The little girl looked out at the falling snow. You know what I learned today? What's that? Lily thought carefully. People can make mistakes and still become better. Ethan glanced at her. Sometimes children understand life more clearly than adults. I think you're right. That Christmas Eve didn't magically fix everything. Real life rarely works that way. Trust wasn't rebuilt overnight. Years of distance didn't disappear instantly. But something important began. A conversation. A willingness. A new chapter. Over the next year, Rachel followed through on her promise. More visits. More calls. More presents. Slowly, she became part of Lily's life again. And Ethan learned something valuable too. Forgiveness doesn't always mean forgetting. Sometimes forgiveness means making room for growth. Making room for people to become better than they were yesterday. Years later, one photograph remained framed in Ethan's living room. The picture beneath the Christmas tree. 3 people standing together. Not a perfect family. Not a traditional family. Just a family doing their best. And every Christmas Eve, Ethan remembered the moment that changed everything. Not because of a grand speech. Not because of a miracle. But because of 2 simple words spoken with honesty. Thank you. Sometimes kindness begins when someone finally feels appreciated. Sometimes healing begins when someone takes responsibility. And sometimes the smallest words carry the greatest power. Because when gratitude meets forgiveness, hearts can open again. And when hearts open, new beginnings become possible. That is a gift worth celebrating every season of the year. This script is fully original fiction, written for a heartwarming YouTube storytelling audience with themes of kindness, gratitude, forgiveness, family growth, and hope.